Mouldwood Depths. If you ask the average player of Ori 2 about the hardest level in the game, they'll probably tell you it's this one. You have to navigate through darkness using pockets of light for safety. Stepping into the darkness will lead to it encroaching and then killing you instantly, even at full health. On top of this, the level itself is a maze. This is the intended route through the level, assuming you make no wrong turns or stop for optional content. Oh, and the spikes here also do more damage than anywhere else in the game. An average player would probably take over an hour to just get through Mouldwood at all. But as the title of this video gives away, this is not so for speedrunners. Instead of an hour-long anxiety fest, Mouldwood is a minute of non-stop execution, precision, and trickery. Let's take a look at how Ori Speedrunners beat Mouldwood Depths in under a minute. First, I want to clarify what category we're talking about, which is going to be main quest order. This category most closely resembles a regular playthrough, so we won't be arriving at Mouldwood with any unintended abilities, and we also can't go out of bounds. The first thing to know about the level is a little trick we can use to regain our light. Ori has weapons, and either as an oversight or as intended behaviour, the bow refreshes our light every time we use it. Now, you may raise an eyebrow at this point and think, well, that answers the question, right? That bypasses most of Mouldwood's roadblocks, and while that's true, that's not the full story. After all, I'm asking how we beat Mouldwood in under a minute. Simply having the bow doesn't allow us to do that. If we're going to beat it that quickly, we need to squeeze all the time out we can get, and firing the bow takes time. So, with that in mind, let's go over some bread and butter tech for Ori. First up is dash slashing. Whenever you dash, there's normally a cooldown. However, you can interrupt that cooldown with a slash, and then interrupt the slash itself with another dash. This lets you chain together a lot of dashes to move much quicker. The main trick of the whole speedrun is something called sentry jumping. Sentry is an optional weapon that drops a turret to fire at enemies. However, by doing a sentry and an up slash on the same frame, Ori instead flies miles into the air. I'm sure you can imagine how this is used for sequence breaks. Here though, we're going to be using it simply as a quick traversal tool. There's a lot of movement tech in the game, but the final piece we need to know for now is something called wave dashing. There's another optional ability called regenerate, where you stand still for 2 seconds to heal yourself. By dashing into a wall, then holding the other direction plus regenerate, Ori rockets off at ridiculous speed. Oh, and the name isn't a reference to Celeste or Melee or anything like that. A developer of the game, Onan, suggested the name because Ori waves at the camera. There will be a few other things to note throughout this segment, but I wanted to get those basic concepts out of the way first. Without further ado, let's get started. The split begins up at the entrance to Mouldwood, and we immediately do a dash slash into a down slash. The down slash interrupts the dash's momentum and makes Ori start falling a little bit quicker. After refreshing our dash with a glide, we head through a small section here, avoiding the enemy with some really subtle tech. Did you catch it? Normally, if you dash then try to turn around, Ori has to lose their momentum before turning. You can bypass this by holding back before the dash completes. After a wave dash and some dash slashes, there's another trick. This one is less based on execution and is more about precision. Around about here, there's a cutscene of this little glowy dude called the Voice of the Forest talking to us. It only takes 5 seconds, but obviously, skipping this would be ideal. Ori speedruns use a loadless timer in order to make the playing field fair between players with different hardware. As a result, it's sometimes quicker to quit to menu rather than watching a cutscene. By opening up debug mode, we can see that there's a save trigger right before the cutscene. So what we want to do is trigger the cutscene, then somehow enter the save trigger during the cutscene playing. If we do this, the game will consider the cutscene watched, meaning we can quit to menu and save about 2 seconds. If we enter the cutscene trigger airborne, it will halt all of Ori's movement, but not actually play the cutscene until we touch the ground. We can slash back into the save trigger, but that doesn't make us save before the cutscene actually plays, meaning a quit to menu wouldn't work. Instead, what we can do is time some slashes very low to the ground. By doing these low enough, we actually touch the ground during the second one, and also entering the save trigger. If we now do a quit to menu, we can load back into the game and the cutscene will be skipped. Aside from just saving time though, a quit to menu here is also very useful for cycles. When you load back into the game, all enemy positions are reset. That means we know for a fact that this spider is going to be right down here when we fall, meaning we can do some consistent strategies with it. Ori has a basic mechanic called bashing. Basically, you launch an enemy in one direction and yourself in the other. It's an extremely cool and versatile tool in a casual playthrough as well as a speedrun, and we're going to use it for our advantage here. We can't do a wave dash here due to the spider being in the way, so we're going to bash it out of the way, moving ourselves to the wall, then do a wave dash into the darkness. We need to pick up this keystone, and fortunately it refreshes our light for us. When we bash the spider away, it's now standing in a perfect place in the darkness so that we can refresh our light just as we would be about to run out. The door over here needs 2 keystones to open, but the route of main quest order actually picks up a spare one earlier on to save time here. The game saves when we open the door, meaning we can do a quick to menu to skip the door opening animation as well. This darkness is the most trivial to skip with the bow, but with enough speed, we can actually just dash slash through the whole section. The thing to be careful about is that you can't just simply mash the inputs. If you end up in the air, we don't get the dash back because we're not touching the ground anymore. The third darkness section is too long to get via in just one go, and it also has no light trickery, which means this is going to be the one mandatory bow shot in the whole section. Also, this blind fall may look very daunting, but it's actually just a simple zigzag right then left. After doing a wave dash off this door, we actually are going way too fast, so we need to do a down slash to stop. There's a spring to the right you're meant to take, but we're going to stop early to do a sentry jump. We need to pick up these keystones to use later in the run. Fittingly, this last section of the level is the trickiest part of it all, and also potentially the most costly. It's covered in insta-kill spikes you can't see due to the darkness, and the dev will send you back up to 7 or 8 seconds. The main thing is to time this sentry jump well. By holding right when doing the inputs, you can squeeze between these sets of spikes to reach the higher level. We're just about to run out of light though, so we need to bash off the spider to both refresh our light and also reach this cocoon. From the cocoon, a sentry jump into a double jump can just about let us onto this higher spring. And that spring would normally send us way past this wooden beam, so we can cancel the momentum of a double jump and do one last sentry jump to get to the top. Right at the end of the level, we need to do one last wave dash to reach the boss, but we also want to equip our bow so we have it ready to do as much damage as possible whenever the fight starts. To keep the wave dash momentum, we do a jump here, just equip the bow, and then we go into the fight. Hopefully you can see how much goes into just a minute of gameplay. I asked some other runners in main quest order, and despite its difficulty, this is the favourite split of a lot of players. Of course, the split can be made easier. The small optimizations like skipping bow shots aren't required, but it's also got a lot of unique movements back to back. It makes the split feel very fresh with a lot of room for player improvement. If you're interested at all in speedrunning the game at any level or in any category, I really encourage you to check out the community. I'm constantly amazed by how kind and accepting everyone is, and there's tons of resources for every category. Video and text guides, splits, saves, and so on. Anyway, this is my first time doing a video like this. I could easily talk for hours about the nuances of Ori's movement and optimizing small things, so if you like this kind of thing, let me know and I'll make some more. That's all from me, so thanks for watching, and always remember to love yourself. Bye!